So, before we talk about the music you've been making lately, obviously you are brothers, and what music was played in your household growing up?
Well, I remember distinctly there was a Michael Jackson videotape that we used to have just on repeat. I think it was like a compilation of all of his like main tracks, like Thriller and like that. Yeah, just had all of his videos. So that was like a big inspiration.
And well, this is interesting, Michael Jackson, because well, it is music videos as well. He was kind of known for his music videos. So,
Yeah.
so was that an element that
Well, that was
gravitated
yeah,
towards?
that was definitely a big thing. It was, I think that was our first kind of introduction to music video format,
Right.
and seeing such a some of them were such amazing narratives, like the Remember the Time video with Eddie Murphy as the Pharaoh and all that stuff like that. Just these crazy long format music videos as well. Really good.
And lots of dance routines as well,
Sure.
which we're starting to focus on a bit more. Jack's getting some more moves.
Definitely.
And at this time, I suppose you were quite young. So what role did music play? Did you already think about, hey, this is what I want to do?
I think so. I think we were always, music was our like main, well, it's definitely my main hobby, outside of school. I'd kind of spend all my time doing music. It was like the local orchestra or local big band, like school's big band. And yeah, I guess I kind of always thought would end up doing something in music.
Right.
Yeah.
And between the two of you, was there a rebellious phase where you liked a certain band that you hated, or the other way around?
No, I don't think so. I was always kind of very much interested in the music Jack liked. So that was like, yeah, it was always just an inspiration, not like, it was never like we were trying to, like, who's knows the best band. It's never like that. It was just...
Because there was 6 years between us, so I think it was just long enough for it not to be like a kind of, it wasn't like a competition. It was kind of... But then it got to a point where Luke was showing me stuff as well that was new, and I was like, oh.
What is one band he's shown you lately, or recently?
The Antwood, I think. Luke showed me the Antwood.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Something quite well. I was gonna say eclectic, which is kind of what you do as well. You draw from everywhere. So was that something in your upbringing as well, where you were open for all kinds of music and?
Yeah, I think so. We were kind of, because our mum is she was a classically trained French horn player, and our dad was a DJ. So I think that was kind of that.
So the best
helped.
of two worlds. In a way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you start a band, and then I've spoken to the band before, so we won't have to go into how you got together and everything. But once it took off, and rather be obviously kind of enormous, and what was that like? Could you anticipate something like that?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think any of us knew it'd be the way it was. I think it all happened really quickly. Suddenly we were just in this, other world that we just had no idea about.
Right.
And it was just like, yeah, right, this is it now.
This is going to sound silly then maybe, but was it enjoyable?
Yeah, it was. There were bits that were not enjoyable, but on the whole, yeah, it was great. And it is great. I mean, I think we found ourselves in a place that we never really planned to be. So it's very interesting seeing how things are unfolding. But I think with Rather Be, it felt like we're kind of chasing it a lot. It just happened and we were like, shit, we better kind of try and keep up. Now it feels like we're in a bit more control over what's going on, and we're still going down that route, but maybe with a bit more kind of our own kind of autonomy.
Right, because I was gonna ask, maybe it added pressure because one of the first releases huge hit. So, but you're saying it's kind of liberating in a way.
Yeah, I mean, the song was never supposed to be like, we weren't trying to make this like. It just happened, you know. It's very natural. It just kind of took off, but it put us in a place where suddenly we were in a very kind of pop world, you know,
right.
and we had to kind of follow up strong in that world. Otherwise, you see this kind of, or so they say, that you know, you can never have like. They're always talking about kind of ramps and paths, aren't they? Like,
oh yeah.
It can never be seen to be going.
You can never go downhill. Once you're up the hill.
If the public perception is.
Yeah.
Well, is that a tough thing then? Because obviously the Rockabye was a huge hit, so.
Yeah.
But while you're thinking about or making Rockabye, is that in the back of your mind then?
I mean, it is to a certain extent. Rockabye, though, I think again, it wasn't like we were trying to do that. We were just as shocked when we see, you know, Rockabye's just like hit 1 billion views yesterday, and that's kind of just as weird.
Yeah, it's overtaken Rather Be now, so that's
right.
That's something. But yeah, I guess not. Yeah, but it felt like these tracks always start off as like quite a kind of left field thing, and eventually I feel like once the label have some kind of idea that it's going to be like a big, this is going to be it, this is going to be your next big tune, it kind of takes some other form. But
right.
Yeah.
And obviously along the way you've worked with Jess Glynn in Red V and Jean-Paul and Emery now.
Yeah.
How do you seek out artists to work with, or do they just come in your path in a way?
Well, with Jess and Anne-Marie, they're both on our label,
right.
Both on Atlantic. So we introduced to both of those guys through our label. But we'd been wanting to work with Sean Paul for a long, long time.
Simple question, how come?
Just massive fans of his music, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, just and yeah, I've wanted to work with him for maybe like, I think we approached him 5 years ago at his concert, gave him a CD, and never heard back until recently.
And then now, well, like I said, the huge success with Rockabye as well, and then Symphony is doing quite well. So where are you now as an album? Are you gearing towards an album now?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of pressure to finish like individual songs. Like that, now the music market, I think, is so geared towards singles, especially the kind of music that we're putting out. I think it's hard for us to find the time to kind of focus on an album, but we are trying really hard to get it all together in the spare time that we have when we're not touring and promoing. So yeah.
And like you say, in this day and age, you have streaming services, and the album, in a way, might be a lost art in a way. But so do you definitely see it as a collective thing, and then something that's?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's definitely the plan. I think it's really important to still kind of do that and to make cohesive bodies of work. Yeah.
And so musically, what have you noticed about what you're writing for the new album?
It feels like it's kind of going down two paths. There's 2 folders. It's like smash hits folder and album folder.
Okay, and then no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask because well, Neil left the band a year ago.
Yeah.
Was there an adjustment period after that?
I mean, the adjustment period was in the time leading up to his leaving. You know, we could tell that he didn't want to be doing it for a long time, and I think it took him a long time to realise that he didn't want to do it anymore. And you know, it was a big decision for him to make, and it was one that he didn't. I don't think he took it lightly. So
sure.
Yeah.
But for you as a band, then, when you proceed, because obviously the dynamic has changed. So
yeah.
Was that difficult to kind of not just to, maybe that's not the right word. But
I don't think. Yeah, it was tricky. was like a sad thing that he had to go, but you know, the band's always just been evolving. We've always worked with like different singers, and with the live show as well, we were always like rotating and adding like new members depending on, you know, what we want to do. But yeah, it was just another step of our evolution, and we just had to keep going, and you know.
Right.
Yeah.
And well, you mentioned the Smash Hits folder and the album folder, and now I read that you were working on a song with Sam Smith. So where is that song going?
No, there's no song.
No?
I don't know where that rumour's come
Okay.
from, but yeah, that's not.
So that's the internet is.
That's the internet's going.
Rumour mill, yeah.
Rumour mill, yeah.
But yeah, fair enough. Now I'm not going to go into that. Fair enough. But so what are you hoping to give the audience, or what are you hoping the audience takes away from what will be the album?
I don't know. They'll just have to see what they think. Like, there's a lot of different stuff. I'm hoping that there's going to be some surprises for our audience, seeing some aspects of our kind of writing that they might not have expected, and not kind of.
In what sense, or what are you kind of gravitating towards in your writing now, in terms of maybe song structures or?
Maybe a less polished sound, and more acoustically led sounds.
Okay.
So it's a bit more kind of experimental. But then at the same time, we're still pushing the kind of big stuff as well, the big kind of polished pop stuff, because we love doing it all. You know, it's just trying to broaden the horizons of the project, basically, kind of keep pushing in all directions.
And I don't know how far along you are with the album, but is there an album title yet?
There are kind of a couple of titles in the pipeline. Yeah.
Is there one potential one you can give me?
No way.
Or maybe one you already threw away?
One we already threw away. Space Ghetto. If you say Space Ghetto in an American accent, it sounds like you're saying Spice Girls in a Scottish accent.
Does it?
Yeah.
Kind of throwing the audience off the...
Say it.
I can't do an American accent.
Can you do an American accent?
I'm terrible.
You can do it.
Space Ghetto.
I think you just made it.
I do get what you mean.
Did you hear what I'm saying? It's like sounds like Spice Girl with like this strong Scottish accent.
No.
Space Ghetto.
Kinda, yeah.
Alright, final question then. Well, we're here at festival. Festival season is starting up again.
Yeah.
Is this kind of the time of year you enjoy most, or is it also this? Can it be the studio or?
No, it's really nice going into festivals. This, I don't know, it's a tricky one. I feel like we've been kind of recording and writing this week, and then to come and then travel and do 2 festivals in the weekend and then get back into the studio, it's quite tricky. I'd quite like it if we could have more, if there was just more time in the year. It'd be great if there were just a few more months between May and June.
Yeah.
Basically.
But so in that sense, can I assume that you don't feel rushed to finish an album? You kind of want to do it in your own time?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about this morning. I think like music is music, and it doesn't need its own time. There's no point rushing something. It will be, if it's good, it's good. You know, I think from what we've seen with like the music that's come out over the last few years, it seems like more than ever, people are just bouncing between different genres and different kind of
and stuff gets
sounds.
discovered later, and then eventually an audience will realise what is a good track, no matter what time of the year or like when you release it.
So in a way, the internet kind of gets it to the people eventually.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it probably is that.
So it needs to just relax and just finish it in its own time. I think that's the plan. Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.